friends, it's Jenny, and I am back with another Beadbox Bargains anniversary bundle. They did an anniversary blitz to celebrate their 10th anniversary, and they created a bundle for one each for 7 days in a row that are these special bundles, and I am going to be opening day 4. This one is called The Cat's Meow. I'm sure you're gonna find out why in just a minute. But just so that everyone's clear, these bundles were very limited edition. They sold out, many of them very quickly. And so they are not available to purchase. Individual beads, as far as we have seen so far, have not been listed. So this isn't necessarily to promote the product. It is about celebrating the anniversary, doing a little bit of an unboxing, organizing, and creating from this bundle for any of those who did get it, want to be inspired by it, want to raid your stash to create something like it. Whatever you want to do, that's what this video is for. So I am going to start with an organizing portion of this, and I guess we'll just get into it. This is a fun bundle. This is one of the ones that I got, but Beki did not. So I am doing this unboxing. There are a few items that I can't use that I will set aside for Beki, or to be used in another way, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I figured I'd start with my longer strands of bigger beads. There's no list, there's no numbers on them, so we're just ordering them in whatever order, opening them in whatever order makes me happy. So I'm excited. So these are 8mm. Oh, this one is numbered. Oh, the first bundle, they weren't numbered. That's okay. I'm not going to go by number anyway, because I'm just going to be opening it how I want it. That's just going to be easier. So anyway, it does actually have a number. Look at that. Not a number as in item number, but a number as in within the product list. This is 8mm black agate, and it's 15-inch strand. And I think with it being 8mm, it will probably fit in one section, but we'll see. I might need to drop that down and do 2. But you can see the natural agate. I mean, yes, these are black beads, but there's also some really cool banding that exists on these beads, and some variation that this is definitely also agate. It is dyed, so the black is, you know, pronounced, but it's still got a lot of its cool natural gemstone texture on it. I'm just gonna slide this in here, put this in one of my sections, and we'll see if I need a little bit more space. I might. These are kind of chunky guys. I know if they were 10mm, I would definitely need more space, but this thing is almost full already, and I still have this much on my strand. So I'm gonna go ahead and put down this divider. One of my beads tried to escape, and put the rest of the guys in there. So a lot of these beads, these stone beads at the beginning, they're more about colors that make you think of cats than necessarily the very, very cat themed stuff that we're gonna get to in this bundle. This one is 8mm picture jasper round beads. This is only a 7.5-inch strand, so it should fit just fine in one of my sections. And I didn't talk about this at the beginning. For those of you who are new to our channel, this is a 15 grid organizer that both Beki and I really like to use. When we get a new box or a bundle, if I leave it in the pouch that it comes in, I'm not gonna look at it and be inspired. I won't see all the bits and pieces. You'll see mostly what you see over here, packaging and plastic. And so we transfer our stuff into these bundles so we can look at that curated collection all together and be inspired by it to create. And so that is why we don't do necessarily unboxings. We do organizing videos. We still go over all of the fun things that we get and share them with you, but with the purpose of, like, how do we put this how we want to be inspired by it, less about let me give you all the gritty details on everything. We still give you the details as much as we have, but less about that, more about the what are we going to do to create form it. So this is 6mm tiger's eye facet round beads, a 7.5-inch strand, and it is so pretty. It's got the fastening, but it's also got that, and I don't know all the right words. I don't know if this is chatoyancy or whatever it is, the banding in a tiger's eye that seems to move with the light. That's all in there. Put this up in my dish as well. But this is on a nice silk strand. And so I think I'm going to just coil it up in a section like this and work from the strand when I do it. And then we've also got, these are red agate. These are dyed, 6mm, another 7.5-inch strand. Look at this color. This one I'm showing not in my hand, so you can see this color. And it is dyed, but I love the variation you see in here. Like you see the red tones, but you also see like the taupe and black and everything else. This screams like Calico kitty, you know? There's a lot of really great vibrancy there. And it is also on just silk thread. So I am going to put that in and have it be in its spot. Again, when I use that, I'll work from the strand. And then just to kind of finish these off, we have a lot of charms and special beads. So we're going to get to that very, very, very soon. I guess the next in size is going to be this 4mm cat's eye glass faceted round beads in light coral. This is such a pretty, pretty color. I'm gonna move this around a little bit so you can see the faceting, but also the little bit of, it is a glass bead, but it has some of that same kind of movement you get with tiger's eye. And so I am really looking forward to that. And I don't know if I'm gonna need roommate situations, but this is a small enough strand that I can easily pop it in here with my red agate calico stuff. I'll move things around if I feel like I have the space for it. And then we have these 3.5mm tiger's eye. Let me get some of this excess thread out of the way so we can see more of the stone. There's a lot of excess thread hanging off the ends of these. But this is a long strand. This is 15 inches of 3.5mm beads. So this is a lot of beads. This is, if you wanted to use these as spacers in a design, they'd be perfect for that. There's this one little like purple stone here that maybe wasn't supposed to be there, but hey, bonus, I guess. But the rest of this does actually look like cat's eye. So I just think that's funny. My little purple stone, probably a little bit of amethyst. Yeah, that's kind of fun. So just putting this in here with their big brothers. So they're in the same pile. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna need that space, but I'm starting by claiming that space because there was a lot going on. And a lot of these things I can use. A few of them I can't. So let me get those sorted out first and we'll go through them. And like I did with my Southwest style bundle, I'm just gonna put them in a certain section of my organizer to pull out later and add to the Beki bag. But they actually have a whole bunch of stainless steel in this, which is the hypoallergenic grade of stainless steel. So I know that I can use a lot of these things. So this one is not, but these spacers are nickel free. We've got another hypoallergenic link. And then we have a whole bunch of cool carved and shaped glass beads. One that's carved from a nut. We'll get to that. Okay, so these are the metals that I can't use. And we'll just start with that. So we've got this platinum plated brass magnetic paw print clasp. And it opens up. It's got little posts and divots so that whoop, it snaps closed and does what it wants to. Decent, strong magnet. It just wants to go and do its own thing. In fact, they magnetize to each other pretty strongly. And there are 2 of those. They're super cute, and I bet Beki will have fun with those. I cannot use them. set aside her little baggies separately. And then we've also got the 2 sets of the fish beads. These are lead and cadmium free, but they're not nickel free, so I won't use them. But I know Beki has enjoyed these in the past, and they were included as a snack for all the kitty cats you're about to be introduced to. And the way it works, there's 2 sets in here. I'm trying to do this kind of quickly. I'm identifying the matching parts and making 2 separate piles. There we go. Okay, so there's the 2 sets, and it goes together kind of like a puzzle. It's just these different little segments that make this fun fishy guy with his head and his tail and his fin. And whoa, I moved it. Hold on, let me just zoom in. Fishy dude. Fishy dude. So that's kind of fun. I won't use it, but I'm going to set it aside for Beki. I'm going to set those guys aside for Beki. That's going to pop right in here. Also for Beki are these swirled bead caps. They are lead and cadmium free, but not nickel, so I will pass. They are really cute though. They're very rounded. Let me get some on my dish. They're very rounded, so I've got that open so you can kind of see the bowl shape that they are. And I like the swirl pattern. I think that's really fun. I think when Lauren was revealing it, she said it made her think of like little cat's tails all swirled up and things like that. So they are cute. Put those in there. And then this is one of the focals, and I love this focal. I love it. It is an enamel cat cameo pendant in antique silver. There is no metal information on it. And so I have to assume, err on the side of caution, that I can't use it. However, normally I would give this to Beki to use because she doesn't have the metal allergies. She is also, well, actually she isn't getting this one. She might want it, but my mom, who's here for a visit, looked at it, and she does paper crafting, and she thought one of the things she makes a lot of cards. Cards are like her go-to, but she also loves to make junk journals, and she doesn't have a cat one. And suddenly when she saw this pendant, she suddenly felt like she needs to do a cat junk journal. And so she is going to take this pendant to use on the cover of a cat-themed junk journal in her paper crafting. So that's actually gonna go to my mom as what it is. And I'm not worried about closing this because I'm just gonna take it out and give it to her later. So I think I've saved enough room to do all of the rest of these. So these 3 bottom ones, these are the ones that I've already determined I can't use. So I'll clear them out after I've finished with this video. But oh, here's where we're gonna have so much fun. So let's do kind of the filler beads first, the cat-themed filler beads. We've got these cut crystal. There's 10 pieces, 8.5 millimeter, and it's in light smoked topaz. Let me get them on our dish. And they have very angular facets, which I think is really an interesting choice, and I like it because it fits. A lot of cats have very angular faces. And so I think that's a fun choice. That's a very fun choice. So I'm gonna go ahead and put them in here. And then I've got these guys. There's 10 pieces of this as well. These are 8 by 10 glass cat beads in an Magma AB. And we recently had some shells back in June that had the same kind of color and finish, and it's so great on these. Look at all these cute ginger kitties. Look at all these cute ginger kitties. And I think that they're really good. These ones are smooth. They're not faceted. The faceted ones, I didn't talk about it. Their hole goes top to bottom. And these magma ones go side to side, so ear to ear. So just some different ways that they can be done. I'm putting them separate, but they might end up with some roommates here in a bit because I still have 10 packages left on my thing to open. Some of these are definitely going to roommate. Let's see. because we're about to get into all the fun focal things. I do have these 4 pieces of porcelain cat beads, and they're like, you know, lucky cat faces. They're just these happy little lucky cat faces. So cute. The face is only on one side and it's flat on the bottom. The hole is top to bottom on those guys as well. So I'm just going to put them in with the smoky topaz guys right now. You have to be kind of careful how you do those ones. Oh, sorry, I didn't do, this is some of the basic stuff I can use. These are textured rondelle spacer beads. There's 30 of them, 7 by 4.5 millimeter, and they are lead, cadmium, and nickel free. So I can use these. And these are fun little like saucer shaped rondelles. And they kind of remind me of like, I don't know, a collar or something like that. Those are really fun. I think those are great. And so I'm happy that I get to use those. I'm gonna set them over here on this side of my container. I can use those. Okay, let's do the stainless steel charms next. Let's do the stainless steel charms next. Since we're on the, hey, these are metals I can use. We have 4 different stainless steel charms. 2 of them come in pairs, so they'll make fantastic earrings. We've got these, like I said, stainless steel, and they are the hypoallergenic grade. All of these stainless steel I'm showing you are. So they are allergy safe. And these are happy cat charms. Look at them yowling in joy. Look at them yowling in joy. How fun are they? And they are the same both sides. And then we have a pair of these. These are climbing cat charms. These guys are up to some mischief. They are definitely up to some mischief. Also would make some fantastic earrings. We've got this one, which is a walking cat link. And I could see this being the focal on a bracelet or a really delicate necklace. How pretty is that? How pretty is that? And then our last hypoallergenic kitty cat pendant is a cat with her kitten. And my mom already loves this. A cat with her kitten. A sweet little pendant charm. Love that. So all of those are hypoallergenic, and I'm really happy about that. We also have, this is a picture jasper carved cat pendant. So this is a stone kitty cat. And I just need to remove this bail. That's all I need to do to make this safe for me. So when I use it, I'll just take that off and make sure that this loop is not positioned where it's gonna cause me problems. So no problems there. I'm gonna put him underneath his picture jasper beads up there. Let's decide what to put with him. Let's do, well, no. Like I said, I'm gonna move some of these things around, but we've got these Calico cats, and they're the sweetest. They're so cute. His little paw reaching out, wanting some attention. He has ordered some attention, please. And these are drilled top to bottom, so cute earrings, or because they're all the way around. They even have little tails. But they're really cute, or on something where they twist along the side of a necklace. So maybe they're up along the length of the necklace. You could totally have them there being super cute little dudes. So we'll put our super cute little dudes there smiling up at us. Look at those little smiles. Ah, too cute. See, I'm allergic to cats. I can't have cats. I can have these cats. I'm gonna go ahead and let's do some of these paw charms. This is a carnelian. It is dyed and heated, 16 by 14. And it's just a translucent paw. It does have, it's just smooth on the back, so it does have a right side, wrong side, top to bottom drill. And then we've got these little paw prints, also top to bottom. These are glass in white and pink. And they, again, the front has no pink, so there is a front and back to those. So I've got our little paws here. And then we've got, here's some really cool ones. Okay, so we've got these pair. These are Bodroot carved cat beads. I probably pronounced that wrong. It looks like Bodhi. But these are just like chubby little piles of cats. I mean, look at that. You even see all the little rolls on the back. Ah, they're adorable. They are adorable. I'm gonna put them with the little porcelain friends. So those little porcelain friends. And then we have this one. This is a 13 by 18 Taga nut carved cat bead. Lauren said that they call this vegetable ivory because it carves up just like ivory, but it is made from a nut and so it doesn't harm elephants. And he is just really cute. So his hole goes from the tail to the snout. And he's got his little paws curled up under his face and his little tail curled right here. And he's flat on the bottom. So I thought he would be really cute as a focal on a bracelet. So he's just, you know, sitting on your wrist, just hanging out, being a sweet little cat. Yeah. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. So I'm gonna put him in there with the picture Jasper. So this is our Cat's Meow bundle. And it's super fun. I'm excited about this. I am going to make from this, but I am not going to make from it right now because my mom is here for a visit and she leaves on Tuesday and she loves cats. She always had little kitties when she was younger and then all her kids were born allergic. So she had to stop having kitty cats, but she loves them. And so I'm gonna have her pick her favorite things from this box, and I'll use that to make a design for her to take home. She has indicated she wants a bracelet and some earrings, and she's given me some ideas on that. But I'm gonna take this over to her and we're gonna figure out what she wants me to work with, what appeals to her when she can actually get it in her hands and check it out. And I'll be back to show you what we're gonna make today. Be right back. And I'm back with our box. I sat down with my mom and we talked about what she wants, what she likes, and I've got a pretty good idea what I want to do with this now. So she has requested a bracelet and earrings, and for them to feature these stainless steel cutouts. This one in the bracelet, so I'm going to do that as a dangle, as a focal in the bracelet, a dangling focal. And then I am going to use these little hanging kitty cats to make her a couple of earrings. And we're going to use some of these, oops, that was noisy, these fancy rondelle spacers because they're fun. So I'm going to get them out. We're going to use some of these black agate. Make sure we get some interesting ones in here too. She told me that the mama cat that they had when she was a little girl was a Calico. So we are going to be leaning into some Calico colors like the blacks and this red agate over here. We're going to use some of this red agate. And she also really likes the soft peachy tones of this cat's eye glass. So we're going to do some of those. And I probably don't need that many of the black agate, but we're getting some out. I'll put back what we don't use. We're also going to use some of these Magma Crystal AB kitty cats. String those along her bracelet. And I think that is it. Oh, no, that's not it from this box. She also loved this little carnelian paw print. And so we're going to hang this as a dangle near her clasp on her bracelet. So I've got some good ideas what I want to do and how I want to do them. I may as well get out the last of these magma cats. I won't use them all, but I'll have them if I want to use them. And set the box aside for now. And yes, she is very excited about getting this pendant to be able to put on her kitty cat themed junk journal that she's probably already planning right now. So that's going to be fun for her. And get the box out of the way. Some of the additional things I'm using for my staff, I've got some eye pins for doing the earrings later, as well as some ear wires. I also pulled these caps. The caps that came in the bundle aren't ones that I can use, but I like these ones. They're kind of a go-to cap for me. They're a little 5-petal flower, but they could also be like little paws. So I might play around with those. We'll audition those on the strand and decide if we want to use caps or not. I'm going to use this little magnetic clasp. I've measured her wrist, so I know how long I need my beaded length to be. With jump rings and attaching this, I'm looking for an 18 centimeter beaded length for her bracelet. So that's what I'll be doing for that. I think, well, I was considering doing this garnet color soft flex, but it might be a little bit too red. My other idea was to use the black onyx, since we're heavily featuring these black agate. So there'll be just a dark line that goes through these beads, but I don't think that'll be bad. The other option is I could use some of my, okay. Let's see. I could either do this satin silver, which is a gray, and it does have a little bit of a shimmer to it, or this 925, that's almost a little too white. I think I'm gonna use this guy. I'm gonna use my satin silver color medium wire. I have changed my mind about what color to use, because I think that's gonna go really well with all of the antique silver and stainless steel that we're using in this design. So I guess let's get to it. One of the first things that I'm gonna be doing is making it so that our little pendant here can dangle. And I think what I want to do for that is to use a bale bead. And, or maybe not. I think I'm just gonna do a jump ring. Because this is a very wide hole bale bead. I only have a couple of options for bale beads, and I think that the jump ring is going to sit nicer with the other beads than this wide hole, which honestly is really great for working with heavier beading cord or leather. So I'm just going to leave that off. Some of the tools that I'm using today are my Casual Comfort plier set, because I will be using them to make some loops to do the earrings. I'm going to make a link. And I am also using the magical crimper and some flesh cutters. And for use with the magical crimper, some 2x2 silver crimp tubes from Softflex. So those are the materials that I'm using. I might dig into my stash sometime during the design. If I do, I will let you know. Now, we've talked a little bit before. My mom has the same metal allergy I do, so I'm making sure that everything that I use is as if I was making it for myself, so that she can wear this with confidence that it's, I'm gonna use the stainless steel side of this. It's hard to tell, but like this half is silver and this half is actually stainless steel. So getting one of these to match our stainless steel kitty cat and her mama. Do that kind of thicker one. And I'm just opening up this jump ring. I've got my bent chain nose pliers and my regular chain nose pliers, and I'm just swinging that open. Just a little twist of your wrist. You don't want to pull apart a jump ring. I did that when I was first starting to make jewelry a couple of decades ago, and I failed so miserable that I just stopped for a while. But I'm back at it. And then just swing it closed and make sure that your metal meets up so that you don't have jagged ends of wire. You can give it a little squish with your pliers to make sure it gets flush, but that's what we do right there. So that little kitty cat is ready to become the focal for this bracelet. And since I haven't really designed a specific pattern, I am gonna start on one side of I'm gonna start in the middle, I'm sorry, of my bracelet until I get about 9 centimeters of beaded length. And I am talking in centimeters because that's the graduation that's on the mat that I'm using. So since I want 18 centimeters of beaded length, I am making sure that I start in the middle, get 9, and then just double that up. Especially since my middle is basically a jump ring, it's gonna be really easy to gauge when I'm at that halfway mark because I'm not really adding, like this doesn't add a whole lot of space that has to be counted for both sides. Other focals, yes. This one, no. Oh, yes, and we'll do the dangle later. So I think that the mama kitty needs some small beads on either side of her. I'm just testing to see. So this bead does count for the other side, but I'll when I'm checking length, I'll account for that. Oh, good. And with this cat's eye kind of chatoyancy they put into these glass beads, my beading wire doesn't really show through, like it's not super transparent. It kind of gets blended in there. So it's not going to be distracting there, thread through those. But I like the smaller beads next to that jump ring so that we don't have a lot of interference with that, you know, jump ring wanting to go a whole bunch of different directions. So now is when we will play. And I want some of these red agate and the black agate and these guys. Let's get out some of these caps. I want to figure out if I'm going to use these caps or not. These were part of a bundle, and so these are, the number is 581, but this is the description, and you can see it's lead-free, nickel-free, and cadmium-free. They were part of a bundle. April, I believe these were. And then they added them again in July, I believe, or ones that are similar. So I want to see how we feel about that on our black agate. And then a red agate, maybe on either side of these kitty cats, or is that putting the orange and the red too close? I think that's putting the orange and the red too close. Let's see how these spacers feel there. This is the auditioning things on my string part of the design, where I'm just kind of seeing how colors play together, how metal components add or detract from elements. Maybe this, because I like those spacers. They're cool spacers, but I'm not sure if I like them with, not sure that I like them with right up against the kitty cat beads. So I'm just playing with other ideas. So these are the elements my mom liked. I do like the black as a separation between the red agate and the magma glass. Let's carry on with this and see if, pull that up a little bit closer so you guys can see it, see if I like it overall. And she did say if I'm putting this together and I decide that an element just really doesn't work, then that's okay. These are just, it's what she liked from it, and basically gave me kind of like those sister stash challenges. Like, okay, here's the things that if you put these together, I think it will look nice. I think, let's see how I feel about, I almost want to load these up. I want to see how we feel about 3 of these cat's eye glass beads in a row, or if that adds too much space. So I think that that gives it, the darker covers, an opportunity to breathe a little bit. Okay, I'm getting an idea how much that space takes. So from my kitty cat to there is about 6.5 centimeters. 6 centimeters to the center of that cat's eye. And I'm looking for about 18, so that's probably gonna be good, but I'm looking for 18, which means I'm looking for 9 right now. So to get to 9, let me see where I get, if I only have 1, if I can get another kitty cat repeat in there, because this is bracelet length, so I need to make sure that I'm including what I want, but not getting so extravagant in the design that I overdo it, that I make this too long. Because you can always lengthen a bracelet with extra jump rings or an extender chain or something like that, but if you make it too big, then you basically just have to restring it with, see, I think this is going to be too much. Maybe what I'll do, because that is the 9 centimeters right there. So this is where I would need to, is that right? With the clasp. We have similar size wrists. I'm making hers just a tiny bit bigger. Yeah. With the jump rings and loops and stuff, that is where we want to do it. So what if, instead of mirroring this pattern completely, I take out a little bit and get my other cat on sooner by doing this. See if I can complete my pattern in a different way. She does really like those spacers, but I think I'm going to do this a little bit differently. Come on. Maybe one of these here. I don't know if I just rearrange things or if I'm actually like saving some of that space that I wanted to. Or, oh, here. This is the fiddly bit. I know what I want. I know what I need to do is just making it fit. Making it fit. Because I am doing a pattern. It's my fault for doing a pattern. But my brain likes patterns. Okay. I have no idea why I put that red bead on there. It did not belong. I'm apparently trying to be too quick and efficient, and I just need to take a breath, slow down, and appreciate the process. Then I won't make such silly mistakes. Put that one closer to the front because that's a cool looking one. Okay. Because then I think that that is going to land me right about where I want to be. Let me see if I can go all the way to the cat's eye or if I need to remove that spacer. Yep, I'm going to remove this spacer so that I don't exceed it too much. If I need a little bit more length later, it's just easier to add some jump rings. Get a little bit more. I will adjust the fit for my mom before we finish. Okay, and that is right at 9 centimeters. So let me get a crimp tube out, and if you have not seen a magical crimper in action before, let me give you a quick demonstration. The magical crimper is meant to be used with 0.018 to 0.019 beading wire. The medium soft flex is 0.019, so it's perfect for this use. It has a small concavity, basically a spherical opening inside that you're going to want to center your crimp inside. So I'm putting my crimp on my wire, folding it back over, getting it back through the crimp tube, and then I'm just adjusting it until I get the loop size that I want. And I don't need a huge loop because, again, I'm just using it to attach jump rings in order to attach my magnet clasp. So then you take your crimp tube, you center it inside your magical crimper, make sure that that's good and centered, and then you just kind of check it, and then you just give it a little squish. And it has pinched down the 4 corners of that crimp tube. So then you take it and you turn it 90 degrees from where you just were. Again, make sure that it's centered and that it's going kind of straight up and down, because now we're going to squash it again in the exact opposite direction. And then after you've gotten those first 2 in, you just rotate it and keep giving it little squishes. Keep it centered. Here I am opening the crimper and rotating, but I am keeping it close so that it's easier for me to keep it centered. The only reason I took it out in between the first and second smooshes is because I was showing you the little corners. And then also I needed to make sure it was 90 degrees. So we do that. It's kind of a small hole in this bead, so I'm gonna go ahead and snip off my excess wire. But see here, you end up with a smooth little ball of crimp. So you don't have to use a crimp cover unless you want to. I choose not to. And I'm just using my flesh cutters to get in there and snip that wire. And scoot the beads down. And then I'm gonna take a look at this, and I'm gonna get as much wire again to go on the other side of the bracelet, plus probably about 2.5 inches for crimping. You technically need less than that, but it is a lot easier to maneuver and adjust the size of your loop if you have a tail to hang on to. So you can use pliers and cut it a lot closer, but why? So now I'm going to just duplicate, mirror what I had done on the other side using the glass cat's eye beads, the red agate, the fancy spacers, these fun little bead caps that I like to use. Some of that black agate, and I am choosing this one that has a lot of like the white movement in it because the Calico has part white too. So getting some of that worked back in for my mom as well. So it's not just black beads, but got some fun visual interest going on. Meant to pay closer attention to that when I was working on the other side. I was so focused on trying to get my spacing right. But I wanted to show off that bead, so I moved it up to the front. So, yep. Our mom loves cats, little kitty cats, and this is symbolic of her and me because my name, Jennifer, comes from the Welsh name Queniffer, which means white shadow. And my mom said that I was always like that, especially as a little girl. I was blonde little girl, and I would just follow her around everywhere. I was her little kitten. So when she thinks of kittens in relation to her kids, she usually thinks of me because we've got that kind of little bit of history. So this is definitely a bracelet for my mom from her little kitten. Right, I am going to check this beaded length one more time before I crimp, just to make sure that I don't need to adjust anything, that I haven't completely messed it up. But from bead to bead, we are right at 18 centimeters. And we're trying to make this a total of 21.5 centimeters. So this is, I think, going to be perfect once I've got the loops done, the jump rings attaching that tiny magnetic clasp for my mom. You want to accommodate with more space if you're using a toggle clasp or a lobster claw or something like that. So, you know, keep that in mind. Whatever clasp you choose, you might do something differently. But for me, that's about how much space I'm allocating for closure. After I get this crimp on here, I am going to get out my tools and we're going to turn that carnelian paw into a dangle that we will attach along with the clasp. So that will be our next step. And I'm just giving it a little tug, and I have made sure on this side, when you're doing your last crimp, you want to make sure that there's enough room for you to close your crimp before that bead, because you can crush beads, and that's, you know, not such a great thing. So I have room. I'm not going to break my bead. And not doing much in the way of demonstration on this one since I did it on the first crimp that I did. But see, it only, if you're just doing it and you practice, you can get it in about 4, maybe 5 little squishes. You can have your little ball of crimp. Just looks like a silver bead at the end of your design, or whatever color crimp tube you're using. The quality of your crimp tube does matter. You want to make sure that it's good quality, that has a nice thick wall, so that it doesn't crumple underneath the magical crimper. Oh, this is so cute. Look how cute this is going to be. Okay, let's turn this guy into a dangle, and I am going to get out a little ball pin. I have eye pins for later, but we'll use a ball pin for this one. And put this in here. I don't think that we need to add anything to him. I think that he is just super cute the way he is. If anything, maybe, because we do have room to make this a more substantial dangle, maybe we put one of these black agate with the caps. Let's see how we like that. No, I think we're just gonna do the paw. Or we're just gonna do the paw so it's not stiff, because the more we put on there, the more stiff that is gonna be. And I'm not feeling that. So this is a stainless steel ball pin, so I have my memory wire cutters to cut this one. So I'm just gonna fold it over and cut the excess. And I am using memory wire cutters just because I don't want to nick my other flush cutters. I think I already need to buy new ones. We're trying not to speed that along. And then I'm taking my round nose pliers and I'm taking the end of this pin right here, and about a third of the way up, I am putting it in my pliers like this. And then I'm just going to slowly roll it towards me. You release a little bit, reposition, and then roll, roll, roll until the metal comes back to the neck right there. And you've made a little simple loop. So I'm just going to give that a quick little squish to work harden it. And I am also using my pliers to adjust and make sure that I have it all the way closed so that it doesn't slip off of the jump ring that I'm going to use. So let's get a couple more jump rings. I think I still want fairly small ones because I don't want to take up more length because I've already planned on length. But I do want to make sure that they're going to be, they need to accommodate all the things. So I think those, and I apologize, I don't know what gauge, I don't have these completely labeled. These were for my own personal use, and then I started making stuff on my sister's channel. So I may not always know what gauge jump rings I'm using or what size they are. I think that one looks a little bit thicker than some of the others. There we go. These ones are a little bit thicker. They'll be a little touch stronger. And get back at it with my pliers, opening and attaching. So we're just going to go ahead and put this bracelet and this dangle and 1/2 of the magnetic clasp. Actually, I have the whole magnetic clasp here just because it's easier to deal with that way, because it already is going to want to attach to my pliers while I'm closing things. But attach it on one end. Okay. And then we'll use our, and there is a right side and a wrong side of this, but it also twists around on the pin, so there's not really a way. I'm sure there are ways to do it, but with the setup that I chose to do, it's just gonna free flow. So you can fiddle with it. I mean, that's part of having a dangle on your bracelet, is having something to fiddle with, right? And then I'm just open up that other jump ring, and I am attaching the other half of the magnetic clasp, the other side, and getting it closed up. Making sure that that's nice and secure. And then we have a bracelet, and like I said, this is going to fit fairly comfortably on mine, but it's a little bit too loose for me. I think this is going to be perfect for my mom so that she doesn't have it too tight on her wrist either. So she wanted just a little bit more space than I get with my bracelet. So hopefully this is perfect. If I need to adjust this, I can swap these for smaller jump rings. I do have smaller jump rings if she wants it to fit a little bit more snug, but I will customize the fit for my mom later. So I'm gonna leave this on my wrist while we make our earrings, because why not? I get to wear her bracelet for a little while, so I'm gonna. And I thought it would be really fun if these little climbing kitties were chasing after one of these red agate like balls, like a ball of yarn kind of thing. And I think they're too small to go with that. I might have something with it. Let's play with this on a pin. So I'm using these eye pins so that I can just attach the kitties directly to it. Let me get a couple that are straighter. You can straighten them. It's just easier if they're ready to go. And let's see what fits on that pin that will be fun. I also like, maybe I'll use some of this cat's eye, because I do think that that's really fun. And I like the light playful bit. So maybe we do, I have a tendency to kind of mirror stones. So cat's eye, red agate, cat's eye, above one of those climbing kitties. That could be fun. I could also make this fancier by adding in those spacers that she liked. Get some real sway to her earrings, because it's going to be this link plus a dangle. See, that's kind of fun. Okay, let's put this in the ladybug dish. So we've got our little climbing kitty, and then this. I think that's going to be a lot of fun for her. Let's do those. I think it's fun. It pulls in the silver / stainless steel, and also some of that, you know, shimmery bits. I think that will complement these really well. So I am doing the same again. Mostly this doesn't really matter what direction that I'm going to do them perpendicular, so that the cat is more likely to hang this way. So if I make this loop perpendicular for attaching to the ear wire, then it's more likely to hang that way. But there's not really a front or back, and all of the beads on my link twist. So there's only so much control that I have. So I just bent that over, snipping it off. And then using my round nose pliers to roll this up. And this one I am planning on making a smaller loop than I did elsewhere, so I am positioning it closer to the end, and because I cut less, I cut more of the wire off, so that it will come back and meet nicely, but not be a huge, loop, since that loop is going to face the front of the earring. Because of the shape of these earrings. So I'm going to go ahead and open the loop that I just made and attach the ear wire. And then I'm going to open the loop at the other end of the eye pin and attach our kitty cat, our climbing kitty cat. And yes, they have fingerprints and smudges on them because I've been working with them. But here is, it's a bit of a dangly earring. I'm checking length on me. You know, she likes a good dangle too. You gotta swish. No, I think she'll like this. I think she'll like this. And I like that the kitty cat is going after all the shinies that are supposed to be out of reach. Because that's what a kitty cat should be doing, right? Going after all the shinies. So I'm just going to make that same link over again. And oh, I already set one aside for that. a decent match. I'm just making this the same way that I did the other. Again, making sure that my loops are perpendicular. I think I said parallel earlier. I'm making perpendicular loops. And again, just making sure that that's going to close all the way. Attaching my ear wire, mom's ear wire. And then opening up the other end of my eye pin, the existing loop, and getting, okay, so this is where I think I do need to stop and just double check, because they can go both ways because they are the same on both sides. So I think that they should mirror each other when you're wearing the earring. So I'm doing it like this. So that was important to stop and check, so that here's the earrings in the ear. Oh no, now they're hanging the same way. Let me try that again. Let me try that again. I miscalculated something. Did not open that enough. Oh, I didn't calculate for the, because I was putting it on the back of the loop. And I didn't calculate for the, he's going to rotate when he goes the other way. All right, so now this is in the ear and this is in the ear. Oops. And they're either both climbing towards the middle, or they're both off on their own little adventures climbing out. Okay. Yay! It's done. I made some fun things for my mom. So let me get my box back out. Well, we'll take one view of the bracelet and earrings together. And then I'll get my beads tucked away in their box real quick so you can see. Here we go. Just turning them so that they do what we want. Do what we want. Do what I say, not what I do. But yeah. Okay, zooming in so that there's less in the way of tools and beads and stuff, and you can just admire our sweet little cat's Meow bracelet and earring set for our mom, because mom was Beki's biggest fan when it was just Beki, but she is our biggest fan now that it's both of us. And I love that I got to make this for her. I have some ideas for some jewelry for myself as well, so I'm so not done with this. But this is a good start. I'm feeling very happy, and I think that mom's gonna like that. This really does give that kind of calico impression with the kind of spots of these different colors because of their round beads. Like that worked out really well. I love that was where we came from on that. And I'm just getting these guys. But see, I have, oops, let's go back out. I still have a lot of beads left. I've got the red agate that I'm still putting back in. They're not going back on their strand. So let me just pull that off and get them put back in. I'm throwing beads everywhere. It's a bead party. Loving this. Loving it, loving it. And then we've got these guys. I'm gonna tuck them away in here. I'm moving around our roommate situation a little bit. But look, I still have so much in here. I mean, this was a smaller project than what I did with the Southwest style. I really used a lot of big chunky beads for that, and I love it. I love it. So I'm glad that I still have a lot to work with. I've got all the tiger's eye and the picture jasper and all these fun things. Just these things down in this corner are the things that I have to pull because they're not nickel free. So I don't want to forget and then accidentally make myself something and then get a reaction, because that's not fun. But there's still so much that can be done. I think it would be lovely to make a delicate little necklace or a bracelet with that, you know, cat on a wire, cat on a limb. Just so much fun that is still possible with all of this, but also the fun that I just made. We are continuing with this series. Next up should be Beki with the pink one. I don't remember what it's called, but you guys should not be surprised at all that Beki is going to be organizing and designing from the pink one. I also got the pink one, but I am letting her have this one because I know that she loves it, and she's going to have a great time doing that. If you are not already following us, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit like, leave a comment. We love to hang out and just, you know, to see more of this or things like it, or just to hang out with us while we make stuff, because, you know, that is one of the things that we do. We like to chat and we have fun and we tell stories, and sometimes when you're just sitting there making something, you just need someone on in the background that is keeping you company, and we are happy to be that for you. So have a wonderful time. Happy beading. Don't forget to play. Bye.